What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Got in touch with our guy, Nick Underhill. Nick_Underhill. neworleans.football is the website. It's time to talk a little New Orleans Saints. Nick, are you down at the league meetings right now?
Yeah, I'm down here. Yep.
What is the butt scuttle down there? What are people talking about?
Not a whole lot. It's kind of a easy or quiet meetings for the Saints. It kind of feels like one of their. It's weird because like so much has happened, and the off season has been just loaded with like thing after thing after thing. But we've talked to Kellen Moore so many times, like just with the Super Bowl and then the hiring, and then they had a couple more accesses, and we've talked to Mickey Loomis, and we had an hour with him at the combine. Like it just kind of feels like we've heard everything. Like it just kind of feels like. It feels like there isn't a lot of new news. In a lot of years, this is your first access to the offseason, so it's kind of like loaded, and there's a ton of stuff coming out. But I think it's just kind of business as usual for them right now. Like they're getting ready for the draft. They took a little bit of a different approach to the meetings this year. In previous years, it would be like everybody in the organization would be here. All the scouts, Jeff Ireland, like all the front office people, Michael Parrington, they'd all be here. Mickey Loomis, and this year. They aren't here. It's just Dennis Lauscha, Kai Harley, Kellen Moore, and the PR head, Doug Miller, here representing the Saints this year. And everybody else stayed back to work on the draft. So they're putting in their time trying to get ready for, making those picks, which I'm not going to lie, like kind of hearing that, like I like that idea better than being here, hanging out, doing your thing. I think there's important stuff happening here when it warrants it, but yeah, I mean, the draft's like 23 days away, so they're kind of full bore ahead on that. So the approach is completely different, and it's just been a little bit quiet here.
So, okay, so that's kind of in keeping then with the next question that I wanted to explore here. You mentioned the approach being completely different. Yes, Sean Payton's been gone for years now, but you immediately went to Dennis Allen, and he attempted some sort of hybrid Payton-esque culture, right? This is the first time where you have a completely new person in that role from outside of the organization in Kellen Moore. This is different. What else is different? Have you started to feel Coach Teef's culture taking root?
I'm not going there on that name. But no, look, the stuff about like Mickey and them not coming here. Like I think that's a Mickey decision. Mickey decided, hey, like Scouts, we're going to stay back. We're going to work. We're going to stay in the office. We're going to do this. More. It's just a different vibe though, completely. And the thought process and just some of the questions you're asking, and it's just different. It's a whole different thing, and everything that we've thought was true for so long has been uprooted. Like it's just kind of learning new philosophies and hearing what he has to say about different things and how they view things and how they're going about it. And one man's prototype might not be another man's prototype, or someone wanting to adhere tightly to something might not be how somebody else wants to do it. I just like how calm it feels right now, though. Like I don't know. There's something about. I guess maybe I'm starting to believe in him a little bit, and I don't know. I guess it's been a few years since we really had any type of belief or optimism in a coach. It's just been a while. It was there at first when DA came in, but that kind of quickly felt like it eroded. And it's just been a few years of just kind of like tension around that. And it feels, I don't know, it kind of feels like right now they got something right. And we'll see how it all comes together and if that actually warrants actual results. But it does feel different, and it feels settled, and it feels put together. And these scouting trips feel very exhaustive, and they're just like around all the players. It's just like, oh wait, they're doing a ton of work on running backs. Wait, no, quarterbacks, D-line. Like it just feels like a lot is getting done in a short period of time. And yeah, I mean, it does feel different.
When it comes to the draft, and we were talking about this yesterday, does it feel like not even necessarily one player, but like they're going to see where they're at, and maybe we get to 7 or 8 and they're like, okay, let's trade up, or maybe they're at 9 and they still think they can get who they get, and maybe they actually do trade back for the first time in a long time? Or do you think that they have who they want kind of circled and they'll do whatever they have to do to get that player?
Well, I mean, I would be really surprised if they trade back just because they never do. They just literally never do. Like, I don't think Mickey's ever traded back ever. So I would be really surprised by that. I think the trade up is always in play. I think there's always a chance of being really aggressive and going after some things. You know, my sense is that there's a handful of guys that they would like at 9, and I think there's probably a patience maybe, but you know, this week is the week where they get in there with the coaching staff and they marry the scouting stuff with the coach reads on the prospects, and then that kind of comes together and you really start to find out what the approach is going to be and what the board's going to look like and what they want to do. And this is the time where you'll see like risers or whatever, like, oh no, this guy came out of nowhere. Well, it's just because most of the information that's out there that, you know, people are talking to people to put together their mock drafts or to report on the league or whatever. To this point, it's really all scout stuff. And the coaches haven't gotten their hands in it yet as far as evaluating and ranking players. Around the league, that same process is playing out. So I think you're going to start to see some major changes probably in some of those mock drafts and how people are ranking their players and who they're talking about. And that's why. It's just, you know, you don't have the QB coaches talking about the QBs yet, and now you do. And that's going to shake things up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't think that they've fallen in love with one singular player, though. I mean, there's a handful of names that I keep hearing, you know, that Warren, obviously, someone we've talked about a lot, Genty, T-Mac.
Yeah.
You know, I think despite some of the stuff that's out there, I think they really like him. You know, we know they like Cam Ward. I don't think Will Campbell will be there for him. So, I mean, I think there's a handful of guys that they like, that Mason Graham. And I think the odds of one of them falling there is pretty good. I think the problem with this draft, though, is that there's really like 4 guys that are worth 3 guys that are probably worth a top 10 pick, and then the rest are like, and you know, those 3 are going to be gone: Ward, Carter, and you know, and Travis. So yeah, I just don't think, you know, I think they'll get someone they like at that spot, but I don't think there's anyone that you're falling in love with, because I don't think there's like that traditional value at 9 this year.
So no concern over T-Mac not liking to watch film?
I mean, I think there's concern over it, but I think that's just kind of what's known about him. And I think kind of culturally, some stuff that happened at Arizona probably led to that too. You know, last year, look, that video was a couple of years old, but I mean, that's still a concern for a lot of people going into now. And I think that the feeling is that he was just kind of babied there because they were afraid to lose him to the portal. And
true,
he was never coached hard, and you kind of ran it, and you give him whatever he wants, and you let him do whatever he wants because you're afraid of what's going to happen. But I think people that have talked to him feel like he is coachable and he'll buy in. But I mean, it's something you got to do with your eyes open. And if you want to fall in love with him, it's probably one of those things that you can justify, and maybe it comes back to bite you later, and maybe it doesn't. But yeah, there's definitely questions there. And being that is, I mean, it's got to be concerning. I mean, I say he doesn't like to watch film or do homework and that, but I think this is going to be the case with a lot of players now coming in. Like, it's just
I do too.
So much has changed, and it's just gonna, you know, I don't think anyone's gonna be coached hard anymore. Like, you can't, because if you piss off a 19-year-old, he's gonna dip on you, and it's kind of over. I think people are gonna come into the league a lot less prepared, and I think it's just gonna get worse and worse, and the product's gonna get watered down on both levels, and I don't know. Something's going to have to give at some point.
Nick, you mentioned Mason Graham there, defensive tackle from Michigan. If you select him at 9th overall, he's a great player. He is certainly somebody that's worthy, I think, of a top 10 pick. But if you do, does that kind of show what you think about Brian Brzee in the near future?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, definitely. Man, I love Mason Graham. I don't see any way he gets there, but I think out of all these guys, you know, scouts get excited watching people and start sending off clips. I think he's the guy that I've seen more clips show up of on my phone than anybody else. And he's a baller, man. Like, he just does a lot of stuff really well. And I would love to see him on this defense. But yeah, I think it would definitely be some type of commentary. I mean, if you're replacing your first rounder that quick and you're open to that, I mean, obviously you got to take value, but that shows you that if you can do that, I mean, your guy currently on the roster hasn't closed the door to that possibility. You know, when you have 2 great outside corners, you aren't drafting another one when they're they're both on their rookie deal, and I don't think he's closed the door on that possibility. I think there's still something to get from Brzee, maybe getting some like good, consistent coaching, a D-line coach, that's obviously highly regarded, might help a lot, but there's still a lot there that I think, we haven't seen yet, specifically in run defense. I think that's been incredibly disappointing with him to this point. And I think just consistent, disruption. I think it's there in spurts and at times, but I don't know that you're counting on him every single week. And there's a lot of room there for growth. But yeah, if they took him, I think it would definitely speak loudly to what the future is. And, I would have to think it's shifting underneath Brzee's feet if that happens.
Nick, hey. Over under 5.5. Gotta say. I mean, right? Look, if you win 5 games last year, you're injured to all hell. You should be healthier. I think the staff got back. Like, bro, are we smashing the over on this win total?
I'm so bad at these because I feel like 3 out of the last 4 years I would have lost on it.
Me too.
And I see 5.5, and I'm like, this is insane. 5.5, like same exact thing. They were so hurt. They're playing a last place schedule. Coaching staff's better. Like they got to be able to win 6 games. I would take it, but I'm an idiot who seems to get it wrong every single year, and they apparently are really good at setting those lines. But man, that looks enticing to me. I just don't see any way they only win 5 games. I don't see it, but I'm probably going to end up being wrong.
I agree, bro. I'm right there with you. Let's do it. Smash it. Nick Underhill live from the league meetings. Nick_Underhill on Twitter. neworleans.football is the site. I'm a proud subscriber of many years. You should be as well. Nick, thank you so much, my friend. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.